Got
Hello,
it.
everyone, and welcome to the Around the Ground Soccer Podcast. My name is Jackson, and that's Leo. And
Yes,
we're going
sir.
to be discussing today the Group B and C, which contains United States and Mexico men's national teams. We're going to be discussing the draw and how we think that they will fare in Qatar. Leo, want to
Start
discuss your
off with
background?
the biggest team in CONCACAF, Mexico. You know,
Okay. So, as
so
you can see, it's a great rivalry. I'm a big U.S. fan. He's a big Mexico fan. But today we're not going to be discussing them against each other. We're going to be discussing their World Cup draw. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to do a little bit of predictions, and we're going to see how far we think they'll go if and when they make the knockout stage. So allow me a second to share my screen.
yes, sir. So obviously Mexico has a pretty I wouldn't say the hardest group, but definitely a tough group overall. Um Personally, our first game is against Poland. It's not that big of a Europe nation, but it's definitely a bit of a challenge. I I believe in Mexico. I think we're gonna clutch it up with a 1-0 win over Poland. I think Lewandowski is not enough to carry that team past the group stage, unfortunately. And I know Mexico hasn't been playing very well, but usually we tend to show up when it comes to World Cups. So I wouldn't put us out just yet.
Yeah, I
Against
think
all right.
Poland's a weird one for me because it's like you think Lewandowski. I think it's pretty fair to say that. I mean, a lot of people would say he's the best nine in the world. And I think Kareem Benzema would have something to say about that. But I think it's no one can really disagree. He's top three, not three.
He definitely is, but like when you look at the team overall, like yeah, you got Chesney and you got Lewandowski, but who do you have in midfield? I mean,
Yeah,
Milik, or what is his name? Milik is a striker, right?
Zelensky. I think he plays for
Zelensky from
Napoli,
Napoli.
but
Like they have a solid team, but I just don't think it's a good enough team to do the job. And Mexico in the group stage, like we've seen it in past World Cups, they tend to do very, very well when it comes to this. We've faced like Germany, Brazil, maybe not in their primes, maybe not in their best moments, but they're definitely tough nations to go against. And I think they've proven themselves to be good enough. I just hope and pray that we don't choke against Poland, but I think we pull it off. 1-0 seems like the best result since it's the most realistic result, in my opinion.
yeah, I see it happening. I could see it go either way though. I could see Poland getting a 1-0. This is probably the most even matchup for Mexico in this group, I would say.
Most,
Um, Go ahead. Let's go ahead and predict. What do you think is going to happen when they play
I
Messi
mean,
and them?
I mean, Argentina are just our dads of soccer at this point. Like I don't remember the last time we beat Argentina, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, we tend to beat big nations in the World Cup, but this Argentina squad just looks deadly. I mean, they're definitely one of my favorites to go to the World Cup final. But I personally think it's gonna be a 3-1 defeat against Argentina. They just have an overall just amazing squad. Like there's no going around. Like Messi is just enjoying his time there. He just won the world. Was it the Copa America? So I just see that momentum just, and they're undefeated. They're only on a 30 game undefeated streak, something like that. It's crazy. So like I just don't see us taking down that Argentina squad. Just being realistic at this point.
I don't see anyone in this group taking down that Argentina squad. I think it's going to be a 9 point group, and that's 7 or 9 points is the
Yeah.
minimum. I think. I really don't think they're going to lose a game in this group stage. Like you said, they're on a huge undefeated run. It's Messi's last dance, and I feel like the players around Messi, just listening to them talk, I think they're playing almost more just for Messi than they are for their own country. So they've got two prizes to play for here, and they're not going to go out sorry here. They're going to win. I think they're going to get 9 points in this
As
group.
player. I mean, and they still have that bit of a, I guess they're seeking for that 2014, or was it 2014 when they made it to final and they lost it, so they kind of want revenge from that point. And I feel like if anything, this is their best possible shot at another World Cup. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and to wrap it up, we got Saudi Arabia, so not a big scary opponent. I feel like we are gonna. Oh, wait, give me 1 second. There you go. I feel like we're gonna take it like 2-0 win. Saudi Arabia doesn't look like a very harsh or very tough opponent. It should be a breeze. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't look like that would be our biggest problem in this group. I think as long as we could get some points against Poland, and if we could get a point against Argentina, even that would put us through at second. I don't think we're gonna be first, but I think we're gonna clutch second, definitely.
Well, okay, let's go ahead and see. Yeah, I agree. I think that Saudi Arabia is most likely, they're probably in the top five weakest teams in this World Cup. They were top four team, but they've got pace. I do know that. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I'm not going to act like I know names, but I do know that they have some pacey players in attack that could really, really punish you on the counter if you're not careful. But I think Mexico's experienced enough to handle most of that. They got an old squad, and they're kind of used to dealing with this kind of, like you said, they're experiencing the World Cup. They're dealing with this kind of pressure. I don't think it should be any problem. I don't see them even conceding. Well, let's go
And
ahead and finish off the predictions in this group to
wait,
see.
don't forget about the best World Cup keeper,
Yeah,
Ochoa. Come on.
Ochoa.
When it comes to big moments in the World Cup, Ochoa shows up. All right, that's how I'm gonna leave it at. So I think he's gonna be a big part of this. It should be his last World Cup, but he might play another one. Who knows? I don't know this guy. He might be just a different type of beast. You
Well,
know.
let's go ahead and see Argentina and Saudi Arabia. We can both do this. I say 3-0 at least.
No, yeah. There's just Saudi Arabia has not a big chance on
We're,
this.
we're gonna call it three. Goal difference doesn't matter. I don't want to get too crazy. I don't see like any 5-0 defeats, but I think that they're not going to concede. I know that for a fact. So
Against Saudi Arabia, I see a 2-1, maybe 3-1. I see a 2-1 more likely. I think Saudi Arabia will cause some problems for Poland in
yeah,
person.
I don't think any country's going to go goalless at the World
Yeah.
Cup. So if Saudi Arabia is going to get their goal, I think it'll be against Poland, who probably has. I don't know. It's tough to say whether Poland or Mexico's defense is weaker at the moment. I think Poland probably has a little bit better fullbacks, center backs. I'm not too sure. So they're pretty, like I said, they're pretty even teams. But I
Yeah.
think Mexico edges them a little bit. And yeah, and then Poland and Argentina, like I said, I see Argentina taking 3 points or 9 points out of this group, 3 points in the game. Once again,
Argentina is just one of the stronger sides of the World Cup.
I see a 4-1, maybe 4-2. I think Lewandowski's got to get on the score sheet at some point. So yeah, this group's one of the more simple groups. There's like I said, there's a definite winner, almost definite winner, and then there's an almost definite loser as well. And it
Yeah.
really, Poland and Mexico can go either way. So the biggest game of this group will be Poland Mexico. The winner of that will go through, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's the most important game of the group because Argentina is just solidified at number one, and then it's just a battle of Mexico versus Poland at this point. And honestly, based on how Poland did last World Cup too, I think we have a pretty good chance of clutching second.
Yep. And then let's go ahead and go over to Group B and talk about
Yeah.
the United States. Like I said, I'm a big States fan, so we're gonna be as we're not gonna I'm a homer. I'm not gonna lie. I believe in them and I'm there for it, but I'm not gonna be biased. Let's go through this. England or Wales, USA. This is also just like that Poland and Mexico game I was talking about. It's the most important game in this group. I think this is the most important game because, well, it's the first game, so it's going to set the tone and set the pace for both squads. And the reason I think that this is going to be a 1-1 draw, personally, I think that Gareth Bale is going to be something that the United States hasn't handled a beast like that in a long time. They've played strictly CONCACAF soccer besides 2 friendlies in the past almost year since that camp where we played like Northern Ireland, and we just haven't been tested by a world-class player in a long time. When we played against Uruguay, they sat almost all their players. Cavani only came on, and Suarez did not play. Cavani only came on in like the 70th something minute, and it was a B squad. Valverde came on in the 80th something minute. We were not playing a full strength squad. We have not played a full strength world-class squad yet in over a year, so it's kind of scary. And Wales obviously has that one world-class player.
I think as long as the US knows how to stop Bale, that's the key to that game. I mean, honestly, when Bale plays for Wales, he's unstoppable. We've seen him do crazy stuff, and he's the danger man. He's the guy to mark. Like, if you guys need to put 2 players on him, you guys have to, because he's just a little spark of magic, and you guys are gonna be 1-0 down. So you got to be careful. And honestly, like, the US has a pretty good team. They're very balanced out, and like, I think the US will pull it off as long as they know how to stop Bale.
Yeah, I mean, but a free kick within 25 yards is almost a guaranteed goal when it's Gareth. So that's the only scary thing. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a 1-1 draw. I don't see the US making their return to the World Cup in it, first time in 8 years. Coming out the gate, like I said, I just don't think they've been tested enough, but I do have hopes for them in this group. Let's go on to the next game, England and USA. Well, let's start with England here. We saw them coming off probably one of the worst camps that we've seen in a long time. I don't know all the scores. I think they're currently in the relegation zone from Nations League. I obviously you can say no one cares about the Nations League, but it does matter. It's World Cup preparation and with a little bit of a glorified aspect to it. They lost 4-0 in an absolute battering to Hungary with a manager in Gareth Southgate that's not a tactician of soccer like a lot of the other managers. And, neither is Greg Berhalter, but I'm just speaking in an England sense here. I don't see them performing well in this World Cup besides winning the group. I think they'll probably be knocked out in the round of 16. The squad's not in it. They're egotistical, all about money. They're the English tax. They're the most valuable squad here at this World Cup. And when you think about some of the other countries in it, it's astonishing that
And I think for this game specifically, there's something to prove specifically for the US. There is a lot, like we've seen the MLS is really coming up. So I feel like the US is gonna want to be like, hey, you guys really like underrated us for a long time. You guys really look down on us, and like it's time to set that score. Maybe you guys aren't on the same level, and you guys won't be for in the same level for a couple of years, but it's definitely showing that sooner or later the US will probably catch up to England. And honestly, I see this England squad, they're not that impressive. And seeing the US squad, they have young people, young talent as the England squad, but there's also a lot of passion in that US squad. So I definitely, I think they're gonna clutch up a 2-1 win personally, but that's not something I am in charge of saying. But I think the US could do some magic again in this game specifically.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, I put 2-2 there on the board. I like I said, I see a lot of just deadlocks in this World Cup. I can even see a 0-0. I think this game will be a draw again. I don't think that England's going to be able to edge the US. I don't. And I know it sounds like a lot, but if you look at the way that England play, it is not an attractive brand of soccer. It's just not. And I feel like that.
Pressure. I
Yeah,
feel like
right. Political pressure is going to be hard for both teams to respond to in this game. As this is a very political group, as you can see with the US, England, Iran. We got fellas in here that it's going to be very politicized games, and which is sad to see, unfortunately, but it does change the outcome of some games. It's going to pressure amounts over time. So, like I said, I'm gonna make this game a draw as well. Going into Iran USA, I think this is where the USA really proves that this squad it's the golden generation of the United States soccer. It's the best. It's the youngest, most talented team that we've ever seen. I think that goes without saying. And I think that once again, another heavily politicized game. I want to say that, Iran is one of the weaker teams here, but looking at their World Cup qualifying campaign, I think they won 8 games, lost 1, tied 1 or something like that. They allowed 3 goals in 10 games. This team they don't get scored on very easily. So they're definitely going to be a mountain to climb, but I don't think that they're going to edge the United States. I think that we'll live up to this pressure. It's going to be the biggest test in United States soccer history. I mean, if we want to be taken seriously as a soccer country, then these are the kind of games that you're going to have to win. And it all boils down to it, as you can see. Like, if these are just predictions, we're still 4 months away from the World Cup or whatever, but in this group, we need a win, and I think it's going to come here. Let's go ahead and predict the rest of the group here. England, Iran. I see England getting off to a 2-0 flyer. I mean,
Iran hasn't played a like a preseason or a pre-World Cup game, so it's just
that's
difficult for them. So
that's a whole nother conversation. Iran getting their friendlies canceled left, right, and center. So unfortunately for them, and fortunately for Group B, they are not going to be as prepared as they'd like to be for this campaign. And then Wales and Iran, I see Wales taking a 1-0. No, I'm gonna make that 2-1.
Seems fair.
Yeah, I think that this is Gareth Bale brace. Iran, Mehdi Taremi. He's got a big body in the box. Maybe he'll score off a corner.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to this Iran team, but you never know. They could surprise you.
Yeah, they've got a couple stars. They've got players kind of playing all around Europe. I know that they've got some people in the Eredivisie, some Premier League players. Some you got Taremi tearing up the Portuguese league, arguably the best nine in that league.
Yeah,
That's
right.
that's the
Yeah,
scariest player here.
Darwin Núñez too. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Wales, England. This one here's a UK clash, another politicized game. Like I said, this is an interesting group. It's a very interesting group. But yeah, Wales and England.
I think the England edge it by 2-1. I don't think Bale's gonna be enough against that squad. Obviously, I mean, you probably will get through Maguire because we know how Maguire plays, but you never know. I mean, the old lad, he might pull it through, but I don't think it's enough to carry his team past the group stage, honestly.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's tough on Iran here. 5 goals allowed, 1 goal scored. But like I said, I just with the way that they haven't had these friendlies and the preparation that they'd like to, I don't see them performing at this World Cup. But ask Portugal and ask Spain what it was like in 2018 playing against this team. I mean, they've made a ruckus here at the World Cup, but I don't see this being their year. And we have the U.S. going through in second by a point. So that means that both of the nations we support, we predict to be in the knockout stages,
A
which
bit, a bit biased, but it's okay.
you never know, but we can all dream. So let's go ahead and see how they'd fare. We went ahead and predicted the other groups. And we did it realistically, guys. We're not trying to go with upsets here, which in every World Cup there will be upsets. This is not the final 16 that is going to be there. I can promise you. But like I said, we just went the most realistic route, and that would have the United States matching up against Senegal in the round of 16, and Mexico coming up against the overall.
And yeah, I mean, we love to see that.
And I mean, let's talk about the Mexico game. France, are they going to say bonjour to Mexico right away?
I mean, we already beat them in the 2010 World Cup. We knocked them out of the group stage, and it wouldn't be a surprise if we clutched it up. But seeing as we're coming into this World Cup, I think we have enough to make it past the group stage. But that's it. No round of 16. I believe we're gonna. There's no fifth game for us. There's nothing more than that. I hate to say it, but if we make it past the group stage, we'll have momentum. But you got France in front of you. They have like three squads that could potentially win this World Cup. Like it's a no brainer. I think France will take us out in the round of 16.
Yeah, and then over in the American game against Senegal, this is probably one of the most coin toss games I've ever seen in my life. I think that these two squads are similar, not in a sense of the players, but I think that they're very similar in level and development. This is the first time that we're seeing a Senegalese team, besides when they beat France 1-0 in that same group stage with Mexico. This is the first time we've really seen like a serious dark horse Senegal team and a dark horse USA team that could really, really do some damage at this World Cup. So,
I mean, that Senegal squad does have a lot of experience, but also a lot of young talent. I mean, you got Sarr on the right wing, you got Mane right there, you got Koulibaly, Mendy in goal. It's a strong squad. Like overall, it's a strong squad, and if you mix experience with the young talent, you got a solid squad right there.
yeah,
This squad to be scared of, in my opinion.
yep, I'd argue that they have more world class players than
Yeah.
the United States do, but I don't think that overall the squad is like considerably stronger than the United States squad. I think you can make an argument either way, to be honest with you. But that's all contingent on, of course, whether like I said, we're pretty sure that the Mexico group will end Argentina top, and if Mexico gets through this group stage, it will be in second. And the U.S. group, I could see it going either way. Like I can definitely see the U.S. winning that England game, but it all depends on for the U.S. Group A the way that finishes. With Netherlands could be on top, we could be up against the Dutch, and that's a lot harder of a game. That's like sort of an 80-20 thing for me. But yeah, anything can happen. And then in Group D, Denmark and France are very interchangeable, so we can see Mexico coming up against the Danes, which we know have caused a lot of problems.
Tough match. Yeah, either one's a tough match. I don't
Yep.
think there's an easy match coming out of that group.
Yep. But lastly here, just want to say, what are your goals, Leo, for the World Cup?
Look, as every Mexican fan wants, we want that fifth game. but it's definitely not an easy route for us. We've definitely seen our squad or our nation just completely play a bad style of soccer over the last few months. And I mean, personally, I'm not happy with this specifically the manager we have, but we can't just throw him out of the boat. There's a couple of it's just a couple of months left. I think we should just go through for it and then see what comes out. I mean, but definitely the way we're playing, we could probably scratch a group stage second place, but I don't see us going above. But definitely the goal would be a fifth game. Fifth game. That's the goal for every single World Cup, and hopefully we could clutch it, but it's gonna be hard. It's definitely gonna be a tough World Cup for us.
Yeah, it's an aging Mexico squad, but they have a lot of experience in these tournaments, which is what they're going to have to rely on. And
Yeah.
this USA team is coming of age, so they're young and they don't have experience, so it can go south pretty fast. Is all I'm going to say. But yeah, that's going to conclude the first inaugural episode here of the Around the Ground Soccer podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. Thank you.
Later.